Audio Jungle.
Good day, teacher! We are presenting our group transfer task for today by assembling and disassembling the computer. Step 1. Detach the power cable. The disassembling of the computer system starts with externally connected device detachment. Make sure the computer system is turned off. If not, then successfully shut down the system and then start detaching the external devices from the computer system. It includes removing the power cable from electricity switchboard. Then, remove the cable from SMPS, switch mode, power supply, from the back of the CPU cabinet. Do not start the disassembling without detaching the power cable from the computer system. Now, remove the remaining external devices like keyboard, mouse, monitor, printer, or scanner from the back of the CPU cabinet. Some devices have their own power source. Disconnecting it just ensures you're eliminating any possibility of voltage potential between the PC components and device. There's also always the possibility of a device components holding a charge, even when off. Also, unplugging everything helps eliminate the possibility of an accident. It's a way too easy to accidentally pull a cable and knock something over. No matter how unlikely the possibility of shock or accident, it's good to read on the side of the caution, and it's such a minor precaution to avoid incident or injury.
Step 2. Remove the cover. The standard way of removing tower cases used to be to undo the screws on the back of the case, slide the cover back about an inch, and lift it off. The screwdrivers, as per the type of screw, are required to do the task.
Step 4. Remove the drives. Removing drives is easier. There can be possibly 3 types of drives present in your computer system: hard disk drive, CD, DVD, Blu-ray drives, floppy disk drives. They usually have a power connector and a data cable attached from the device to a controller card or a connector on the motherboard. CD, DVD, Blu-ray drive may have an analog cable connected to sound card for direct audio output.
Step 3. Remove the adapter cards. Make sure if the card has any cables or wires that might be attached and decide if it will be easier to remove them before or after you remove the card. Remove the card screw, if any, that holds the card in place. Grab the card by its edges, front and back, and gently rock it lengthwise to release it. Step 3. Remove the adapter cards. Make sure if the card has any cables or wires that might be attached and decide if it will be easier to remove them before or after you remove the card. Remove the card screw, if any, that holds the card in place. Grab the card by its edges, front and back, and gently rock it lengthwise to release it.
Step 5. Remove the memory module. Memory modules are mounted on the motherboard as the chips that can be damaged by manual force if applied improperly. Be careful and handle the chip only by the edges. Seams and dims are removed in a different way.
How to assemble a computer? The assembling of the computer system is exactly the opposite of disassembling operation. Before starting assembling the computer system, make sure you have the screws and screwdriver for those. Step 1. Mount the processor. The first step for assembling the computer system starts without mounting the processor on the processor socket of the motherboard. To mount the processor, you don't need to apply any force. How to operation. Before starting assembling the computer system, make sure you have the screws and screwdriver for those. Step 1. Mount the computer system starts without mounting the processor on the processor socket of the motherboard. To mount the processor, you don't need to apply any force. The special ZIF zero insertion force, in short, sockets, are usually used to prevent any damage to the processor pins. Once the processor is mounted, the heatsink will be attached on top of the processor. The CPU fan is also attached on the top of the heatsink. Step 6. Power supply. Remove the power supply. The power supply is attached in the tower cabinet at the top back end of the tower. Make sure that the power connector is detached from the switchboard. Start removing the power connector connected to motherboard, including CPU fan, power connector, cabinet fan, the front panel of cabinet power buttons, and all the remaining drives if not detached yet. Step 2. Fix the motherboard in the tower case. Now the motherboard is to be fixed vertically in the tower case, and screws are fixed from behind the motherboard.
Step 5. Connect cables. Now select the appropriate data cable and connect one end of the cable to its drive socket and other end as its appropriate connector on the motherboard. For SATA hard disk drive.
Step 3. Connect the power supply. Now, line up the power supply at the top back end of the cabinet and screw it. The power connectors for motherboard power supply and CPU fan power supply are to be connected. If the cabinet cooling fan is required, then it is to be screwed at the back end grill of the cabinet, and its power connector is to be connected from SMPS.